Is it time to rethink what's inside our ammunition?
For more than 100 years, we've relied on the two same chemicals to power our rounds.
Nitroglycerine and nitrocellulose. They work, but they're dangerous to make, hard to transport and tied to fragile global supply chains. Now BAE Systems says it's time for a change, not in what explodes on impact, but in how it's made and what launches it. Ammunition has two key parts: high explosive, like RDX, which does the damage, and propellant, which pushes the round out of the barrel.
BAE isn't changing the explosive, it's still using RDX, but right now that RDX is imported. BAE wants to change that by making it here in the UK using continuous flow systems. It's apparently faster, safer and easier to scale up than traditional batch production.
So conventionally, high explosive is manufactured in large scale, very significant batches, which means you need to build a big factory, you need a very large safety area around that facility, and you make ingredients kind of in one go, then you test them, and then you repeat. And that process, it needs a big facility to do it. It needs a lot of land around it. And you do get variability in the process. What we've been able to do is to change the way that we do that. So we now do that on a continuous process through a smaller facility which runs continuously. The output of the explosive that we get is better and it's more cost competitive.
Then there's the propellant. That part is changing.
BAE is moving away from nitroglycerine and nitrocellulose. Instead, it says it's using a more simple, stable formula.
What we're looking to do is to remove those from the supply chain and to move to a process that simply uses RDX plus a smaller number of ingredients, which is a much simpler supply chain. And it will take the benefit from the NGX, the new explosive manufacturing process that we've got, and by bundling the two things together, we have a very simple supply chain then for propellant.
BAE says tests show the new mix works across small arms and heavy weapons. Same power, same reliability, same price per round.
It really is a way of getting the same performance in terms of output, the same cost performance in terms of output, but actually for a much simpler supply chain, which again is using then a process that's much easier to scale up in terms of generating large scale manufacturing capacity. It's a huge step when we implement it. So today we are reliant for both high explosives and propellants on overseas supply chains. We've seen since the outbreak of conflict in Ukraine, those supply chains become increasingly congested. There's lots of pressure on them. Now today, we are able to continue to keep our production lines running. However, we recognise there's risk with that. So what we're looking to do is to use the technologies that we've developed to create much more UK reliance, reduce the reliance on overseas supply chains and create a UK capacity for explosives and propellants, which we think is absolutely critical in terms of protecting our ability to continue to manufacture ammunition for the UK Armed Forces.
And while these innovations are still being scaled up, BAE is making big moves elsewhere. In Wales, it's increasing 155mm shell production by 16 times, a huge jump. This isn't about new tech, it's about more machines, better automation and pushing capacity hard.
It's a really exciting facility, highly automated. It's going to be able to produce high volumes of ammunition for our UK troops.
And that stepped up output, BAE says, will begin hitting UK stockpiles from this summer. Add it all together and the UK should be far less dependent on overseas suppliers for our ammunition, with the added benefit of strengthening our industrial base. Is this the way forward? What do you think? Comment below.
Thanks for watching. For more from BFBS Forces News, like and subscribe to our channel.